How did a fashion model from Slovenia end up controlling millions, influencing a presidency, and landing a $40 million documentary deal? Melania Trump's journey isn't just about beauty and headlines, it's about smart moves, quiet power, and building serious wealth while the world was watching someone else. From negotiating her prenups to owning luxury real estate and launching million-dollar businesses, she's become one of the most financially powerful first ladies in history. But how did she turn a modeling career into a role at the center of a $6 billion empire? Let's break it all down. And hey, before we get into all the juicy details, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss a deep dive like this. Melania Trump's fortune. You might know Melania Trump as the quiet, poised First Lady. But behind the designer outfits and photo ops is a woman sitting on a fortune that would make Wall Street blush. So, how rich is Melania Trump? Really? Well, brace yourself. Melania's personal net worth is estimated at $70 million. That's not pocket change. Sure, being married to Donald Trump comes with access to a massive $6.5 billion empire, Bloomberg's numbers, not gossip, but Melania has built her own brand, quietly and strategically. But let's not kid ourselves. Marrying Donald came with perks. Serious ones. Let's rewind to 2004. When Donald proposed, he didn't just go big, he went 15 carats big, a diamond from Graf worth around $1.5 million after negotiating a 50% discount from Graf. Some folks weren't buying that discount story, though. The ring was estimated to be worth up to $3 million. Either way, it was enough to blind half of Manhattan. And on their 10th anniversary, he did it again. This time, a 25-carat monster of a ring, supposedly worth another $3 million. Who needs a bouquet when you've got a diamond the size of a gumball? But here's where it gets interesting. Melania didn't just sit back. She built a name of her own. Literally. In 2010, she launched Melania Timepieces and Jewelry, a brand that quietly raked in over $45 million in a decade. Classy, consistent, and wildly profitable. Not bad for a former model turned businesswoman. Oh, and she's got properties too, several in New York and a Trump Tower condo reportedly worth $3 million. So yes, she may be in Donald's billion-dollar orbit, but Melania's empire stands tall on its own. Rings, real estate, and royalty-level revenues. But where did Melania's story actually begin, before the Trump Towers, the diamond rings, and the White House? Melania's journey from Slovenia to supermodel. She was born Melania Trumps on April 26, 1970, in Novo Mesto, Slovenia, back when it was still part of communist Yugoslavia. Her dad, Victor, sold cars. Her mom, Amalia, designed children's clothes. It wasn't glamorous, just a modest working-class life. She grew up alongside her younger sister, Inez, and only later found out about an older half-brother, Dennis, from her father's previous relationship. But even in a quiet town, big dreams were brewing. Melania moved to Ljubljana as a teenager to attend high school, and that's where things started to shift. She planned to become an architect and was studying at a school focused on industrial design and photography. But then something unexpected happened. She posed for a photo shoot. One shoot turned into another. And by 16, she was modeling. By 18, she'd signed with an agency in Milan. Yugoslavia may have been communist on paper, but the fashion underground was buzzing. Milan and Paris were alive with energy, and Melania was right there in the mix. Sharp features, tall frame, serious presence. She walked runways, built connections, and became a regular in the European scene. Then came her biggest move. New York City in 1996, that's where things really took off. Covers of Vogue, Vanity Fair, Glamour. She became a familiar face in the high fashion world. And along the way, she added a few skills to her toolkit. English, French, Italian, and German. Not bad for a small-town girl from Eastern Europe. In 2001, Melania was granted a U.S. green card under the EB-1 visa, often nicknamed the Einstein visa, typically reserved for people with extraordinary ability. That alone raised some eyebrows. But a few years later, in 2006, she officially became a U.S. citizen. So, no, Melania didn't just appear on the arm of a billionaire one day. She built a career, crossed continents, and walked straight into the American dream, in heels. But now, where and how did he meet Trump? The Trump Love Story. It all started at a New York fashion party in 1998, where Melania Trumps crossed paths with a man who was already larger than life, Donald Trump. Now here's the twist. She didn't say yes right away. In fact, she refused to date him at first. But by the following year, things changed, sparks flew, and the two began a relationship. Until a short breakup in 2000. Still, they found their way back to each other and were engaged by April 2004. Then came the wedding. And trust me, it wasn't your average walk down the aisle. In January 2005, Melania, then 34, and Donald, 58, tied the knot in a full-on Palm Beach spectacle. We're talking celebrity guests like Shaquille O'Neal, Barbara Walters, Kelly Ripa, Matt Lauer, and Katie Couric. Yeah, it was big. After the wedding, Melania officially became Melania Trump. And in March 2006, the couple welcomed their son, Barron, Donald's fifth child and Melania's only. She's always kept a close eye on him, too, raising Barron between New York City and Washington, D.C., playing a much more hands-on parenting role than many expected from a former runway model. But here's the thing. None of this was guaranteed. Melania's journey could have gone in a totally different direction. Think about it. One missed party, one wrong agency, and the story might have been completely different, but fate had other plans, and the rest is history, politics, and tabloid headlines. Melania's First Lady era. In just over 30 years, Melania Trump went from a small-town girl in Slovenia to living in the most powerful house in America. And the whole world watched every step, every dress, every smile, every sidestep, picked apart by the media, by critics, and of course, by Twitter. When she became First Lady in 2017, Melania added a new layer to her already high-profile image. She paused her fashion and business pursuits to focus on her family, especially her son, Barron. But that didn't mean she faded into the background. Her public campaign, Be Best, aimed to tackle online bullying and child well-being, keeping her in the spotlight with school visits, speeches, and solo appearances. And she wasn't just standing by quietly. Back in 2013, Melania even appeared on Celebrity Apprentice, supporting Donald's ventures. And according to Vanity Fair, when Trump was hesitating about running for president in 2015, it was Melania who gave him the final push. Think about that. The First Lady might have been the spark behind the whole thing. When Trump was sworn in, Melania became the first foreign-born First Lady since Louisa Adams, wife of John Quincy Adams, born in London. And she made headlines again when she and 12-year-old Barron chose to stay in New York for a few more months so he could finish the school year, a move that showed she was doing things her way. But just when you thought the Trumps had enough square footage, Melania added another piece to the portfolio. In January 2016, she quietly purchased a $1.5 million apartment in Trump Tower. Now, keep in mind, the couple already owned the massive gold-plated penthouse in the same building. So why the extra apartment? Well, that's where the speculation starts. Some say it's a private library. Others think it's just Melania's personal escape zone, a quiet corner away from the chaos. Whatever it is, it was a strategic move, and it raised eyebrows across New York real estate circles. Fast forward to now, and Melania's still full of surprises. In 2023, she reportedly renegotiated her marriage agreement with Trump, likely anticipating legal and financial fallout from his court battles. Smart? Definitely. That's not the first time she's defended her image either. Remember when she sued the Daily Mail and walked away with a $2.9 million settlement? Yeah, she knows her worth. Of course, people love to speculate, especially with a 24-year age gap between her and Donald. She's heard all the gold digger whispers. But Melania, she's handled it all with the same icy poise that made her a fashion icon. And now, a political wildcard with her own legacy to write. But when you zoom out, that move fits right into the bigger picture of who Melania Trump is. Her life, from Slovenian beginnings to American fashion runways, from First Lady duties to real estate deals and business ventures, is proof of calculated ambition wrapped in elegance. She didn't just marry into wealth. She built a name, protected it, and cashed in smart. Through it all, lawsuits, media storms, political drama, Melania has kept her posture, her privacy, and her brand. She's raised her son, launched her own businesses, tackled First Lady duties. And now, What are we expecting from her return to the White House? Melania returns. After leaving the White House in January 2021, Melania Trump practically vanished from the spotlight. No interviews, no big appearances, just quiet luxury and low-profile living. For years, she kept her distance, even from Donald's wild 2024 campaign. But then came the moment that changed everything. In July 2024, after a shocking assassination attempt left Donald Trump with an injured ear, Melania broke her silence, calling for unity in a public statement. Days later, she made a rare appearance at the Republican National Convention, standing firmly by his side. And by November, when Trump defeated Kamala Harris in the general election, Melania was right there again, stepping back into the role of First Lady as they returned to the White House in January 2025. But this time, she's not winging it. We didn't have much of the information. The information was upheld for us from the previous administration, but this time I have everything. I have the plans, I could move in, I already packed, I already selected the furniture. That's Melania's own words. And yeah, she came prepared. Now, with Barron Trump enrolled at NYU, she's free from school runs and soccer practices. Instead, she's focusing on something massive, a $40 million Amazon Prime documentary deal. That's right, Melania Trump is cashing in on her experience, serving as executive producer of a tell-all doc covering her life, the transition back into the White House, and her second run as First Lady. Directed by Brett Ratner, the film is already in production and set to drop mid-2025. Sources say she'll pocket around $28 million from the deal. That's over 70% of the total cut. Donald and Barron are both set to appear in the series, but make no mistake, this is Melania's show. It's her story, her lens, and her spotlight. Think about it. 24 years ago, she stepped off a plane from Slovenia with a modeling portfolio and a dream. Now she's back in the White House, producing a multi-million-dollar documentary about herself. Love her or hate her, Melania Trump just pulled off one of the most unexpected American success stories of all time. And maybe, just maybe, in her eyes, she's the one who truly won. She came to America with a suitcase and a dream. Now she's sitting on contracts, condos, and camera crews. But now that she's stepped back into the spotlight with more control than ever, do you think Melania is rewriting the role of a First Lady or redefining what power really looks like behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments.